All right, so just like with real painting, I never know how long it will take to get it where I want it to be, but I try to enjoy the process as it's happening. And as tempting as it is to kind of stay in one area, you want to try to move around a lot and be working on the whole piece from time to time. You know, adjusting your values, making different decisions. Building up textures and colors across the entire form, and that's going to make your painting better at the end. Shadow of his glasses makes for an interesting kind of hooded eye there. Try to approximate that. But each subject you paint will have its own challenges, its own opportunities to do something interesting. I've found that emphasizing reds around the eyes is never a bad idea. No matter the skin tone, no matter the subject, just because red kind of shows blood flow. It's a dark color, but it also is so saturated, it helps focus our attention. And we definitely want the focal point of most portraits to be the eyes. And then the ears are always a nice little study because everyone's ears are very individual. It also helps you see if your tools are flexible enough to show the hard edges you want with the soft edges you want. And my finger is just hovering over option, so I can steal colors very, very easily. That's maybe the dominant technique of digital painting, is just stealing colors from yourself constantly. Just like mixing paint on a brush. The whole piece is your palette. And I love being a little bit more colorful and a little bit more out there with my color choices, simply so I'm not only choosing between skin tones and beiges, but it depends what personal aesthetic you're setting up for your portrait. And no matter how colorful or how crazy your colors, it's really the values that matter most, the lights and darks. So even though I have all these crazy colors, if I go to image, adjust, take the entire thing and just, let's see, or go to mode and just change it all to grayscale, just see how that looks. I'm still trying to get very even form to showcase through the through those wild colors. Another digital painting trick is to take your whole canvas, which you can do under Edit. Actually, you can do it under Image, Rotation, and you can flip the whole thing horizontally or vertically to kind of check and make sure everything makes sense. the eyes line up, that the nose is going the right angle. Flipping it back and forth can be very helpful in terms of seeing any like really strange weirdness that's happening. Like I haven't finished the outside of this chin very much. We all have a bias towards one side or the other, and we'll tend to paint more in certain areas than others. So you'll often see digital artists using this trick, kind of working it from both sides to address those issues. And I don't want to forget my composite here. I'm not sure the best blending mode for it yet, but I'll figure something out. And I'll be able to work that in. Now, if you get to have just too many layers, too many experiments going on, you can start consolidating them as well. So if I'm liking everything that's working, and I don't want to have to separate them, between my sketch layer and my value layer, and I just want to have kind of a default way of building, I can start combining those. And there's a few ways. There's ways that save memory, and then there's ways that preserve a lot of options. And more, I'm just choosing ways that keep it lean and save memory, even though they might take away some of my options later. But that's a choice you can make for yourself. And so if I kind of like everything I have here, that's a good underpainting, that's a good sketch. I can kind of get rid of some of this stuff in different layers. Then what I'll do is I'll simply say merge visible. And I don't know if I want this sketch in there or not. I'm thinking not. So I'll go to the top here, and I can just say layer, merge visible, or I can hold down Option and click merge visible. That's the safer, and then it puts it all onto one layer. But if I'm trying to save memory, I think I'm going to do this. Just say merge visible for all of these without holding down Option. So it'll condense a lot of my layers into just this one. And now that one layer, I can get rid of that background gray, and I can fill that in again as a background. So now all those grays are already in the picture there. So I can have it as, I can play with different backgrounds, for instance. And I can lock that and now just work on top of it. His nose is looking pretty boring, so I'm going to try to break that up a little. Strong decisions. Think of yourself as a plastic surgeon. You're carving away the nose you want, adding to it, taking away. Because it's painting, try to get out of the mindset of outlining. The other advantage of digital art is I have the real photo here. Where is it? Which I can put over the top of everything and put in a blending mode. Maybe a low opacity. And I can see if I'm getting way off with the nose. And no, I'm pretty right on. My one eye is a little different, but it works for likeness. Because sometimes you'll focus too much on certain attributes. I tend to make noses too big. The beauty of painting in a non-photorealistic way as well is not everything has to be equally resolved. You want to feel happy with everything. That's what's called finish overall, that you've considered everything equally. I have not considered the top of his head very much yet. But certain areas I'm a lot more interested in than other areas. And I expect my viewer to be as well. You know, like around the eyes, a lot more interested than his suit jacket's texture, for instance. And there's a lot I can do to make that a little bit more interesting. I don't want to compete. Whereas if you're doing photorealism, everything has to look photorealistic. Every detail has to be just as worked over as anything else, whether it's a reflection in a button or any other area. And you lose a little bit of your authorial powers as an artist when you just try to make everything look so believable. To me, I think likeness is important in portraits to a certain extent. But you can also direct the viewer towards the psychology of the person you are portraying, their mental state, their emotions, their view of the world. These are the things I think should be more important than just looking like objective reality.